Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
Good afternoon. It is Monday, May 8th, and we are all in the house. It's me, Caleb, Nigel, and Ali is back from vacation. Guys, a lot of cool stuff happened this past weekend. We had a nice UFC fight, some great basketball. Did have some sad news, so let's talk about that real quick before I say hello. I just want to really give a quick shout out to Vida Blue, all-time great pitcher, six-time All-Star, three-time world champion. Died at the age of 73. In 71, he was an All-Star, a Cy Young, and the AL MVP. Most of his career with the A's and the Giants. Spent a couple of years with the Royals. So I before we say our hellos, I just want to say, does anybody remember watching? I know he's before our time, but have we seen any of these clips from the great, phenomenal Vida Blue? Had a crazy wind-up. Was fun. You know, if you look at the old clips, was obviously fun to watch. But yeah, so just wanted to send a rest in peace to him. One of the all-time greats. So, and we move on to happier things. Caleb, how you doing, my man? How was your weekend?
I can't complain. It was great. Great weekend for sports. I tell you that. For
sure. Yeah. I know you enjoyed the fight this weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Absolutely.
So, Nigel, my man, how was your weekend?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, the weather's back now. I mean, I'm sure New York and Toronto, we share virtually the same weather. So, like, all weekend, man, it's been great. I put my plants there. They were inside the house. Now they're upstairs on the patio. I had to call my dad to make sure I was doing it right. Like, I'm ready, man. Like, let's go. You know,
Nigel is a plant guy. We now know Nigel is a plant guy.
I get it from my mama.
There we go. Explain the hat, my man.
Today's hat is a hat that I just purchased about a couple weeks ago. The little background to this hat is that there was nothing I could wear today based on the stories this weekend because a lot of stuff went down. So I'm wearing this is the Strong Bird, aka the Strong Bird. So the Blue Jays T-Bird hat. It is a Tim Hortons colorway. So if any of those fans of Tim Hortons out there, you see it right here. So this is another fullback. You got the brown, the maroon, and the other shade of brown. You got the tone on tone. New era, and you got that, that 1991 Toronto All-Star Game patch on the side, baby. Look at that. Flat batter man with the maroon and the brown and the cream. Okay. Great underbelly. Let's go.
Love it. I love it, man. I mean, I'm not too happy to talk baseball today because my Yankees blew a 6-run lead last night or yesterday afternoon with their ace on the mound. We won't even talk some baseball. I think we can talk baseball. Baseball season's going to start on the show, I think, come Friday, and then we'll start some baseball.
Shout out to the Jays. They swept the Pirates this weekend. Continue.
Which is a tough feat because the Pirates have been pretty good this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and shout out to Tim Hortons. You know what I'm saying? That used to be my spot when we were shooting in Toronto. Boy, I go there in the morning or sometimes coming home late at night. It depends on, you know that. Let me tell you, that breakfast sandwich, I would always get the number one with no meat because I don't eat pork or beef, but I would have it with the egg and cheese. Oh my gosh, on that bun that they make, and then I get my coffee, but I get the 3 and 3, 3 creams, 3 sugars. Lord have mercy.
3 and 3.
Yes, the triple. This guy's going for the triple.
Yeah.
Well, in Cali right now, you know, it's around breakfast time, so you gotta make yourself something similar.
Yeah, I like my coffee like I like my ladies, sweet and cream.
So it takes us to my fellow New Yorker, Ali Melendez. How you doing, homegirl?
Does it take it to me? The sweet and creamy? I'll take that.
Well, I mean, to the third person.
I'm just messing around, Gene. I'm so good. Sorry about your Knicks. We got to step it up, but we'll talk about that. Otherwise, everything else in New York is good. I did work some baseball. I actually worked with the Mets on Friday, and then I was with MLS on Saturday. So big sports weekend for me as well, but all good. This weather, listen, I was in Key West last weekend, so definitely not comparable, but I'm liking where it is right now.
It's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, some beach volleyball over here yesterday with some friends. So it's getting exciting. It's getting exciting over here. It's good stuff.
How is Taco Tuesdays? I haven't had a chance to stop by there yet, but how is Taco Tuesdays going?
So same. So their grand opening was this past Friday. No, sorry, Friday the 28th, and then we flew down to Florida the 28th until last Wednesday, and then I just picked right back up with work. So we haven't had a chance either. So gee, we gotta link up and go in person. I know. Sure. Well, yeah. No, I'm excited to go and maybe we'll have a little, I don't know if it would look good to eat on camera, but we can talk about it. About it for sure soon enough.
We'll make sure everyone knows about the Taco Tuesday experience. But let's get right into before we actually get into the Knicks. Let's talk a little about the Sterling Seattle fight. Caleb, I know you are the fighting expert on this show, man. Tell us about what your take on it was. Split decision. I thought it should have been Seattle, but you tell Cejudo. Seattle, Cejudo. Tomato.
I'll just tell you this, man. I thought it was, it was a good fight. It wasn't great, but it was very technical because Cejudo even though he portrays to be, his character is trying to be like a villain and whatever, and it really don't work because it's not. Everybody knows it's not true. It doesn't ring true, right? So. But he's a real competitor. He's a real fighter. He takes it real serious. He did what he could. He came back from a 3-year layoff to fight Aljamain Sterling, who right now is the bantamweight GOAT. He has more title defenses than anybody else. He's on a 9-fight win streak, and there's a little controversy on how he got the title the first time over Peter Yan, who he won by a disqualification, but then he fought Yan again and dominated him. So I think that should erase it, but it just doesn't. And what's really interesting is Sterling is from the Jersey area, and he fought there, and the people were booing him and rooting for Cejudo. So I don't know what's going on with Sterling. For some reason, people just don't like him. And I think what's really crazy is when people don't like you, when you try to make them like you, they like you even more less. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They really don't like him. So I think he should embrace the villain. Just be a villain, but it's not who he is. He's a nice guy. He wants to be respected and he wants people to like him, but they just don't. So, it sucks. It sucks for him, but I think, if I was him, I would go the straight villain way and just beat everybody that they bring in there because Aljamain is a savant on the ground. Not so much in striking. He can strike, but he's a savant on the ground. And, he was able to take down an Olympic champion anytime he wanted to. So that shows you how good Aljamain actually is on the ground. But I thought the fight was great. It was extremely technical. And, Aljamain won. And I see it could have went different ways, but I was leaning towards Aljo. I just think Aljo did more and was able to secure that victory. I also think the fight before, my boy Gilbert Burns came up short this time, who I love. I'm a big fan of Gilbert Burns, but he fought Bilal Muhammad, and Bilal Muhammad is no joke. He's a great fighter as well. He did what he needed to do to secure his title. He's next in line in the welterweight division. So whoever wins when my boy Colby Covington fights Leon Edwards, then the winner of that will face Bilal Muhammad. He'll get the next title shot. So I think that's good. Bilal is now trying to turn heel. He's not good at it either. He's trying to be. It's so crazy. People think being a heel is easy. It is difficult.
I think it's easier in wrestling when you can be a little bit over the top. I think it's different when you're being yourself. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, you get to be a different character when you're fighting. The difference is there's real consequences in the UFC. So you can say all that, but you can really get your ass whooped. Versus versus in WWE, it's scripted, but UFC is not. So there's that. So I feel it makes you could be more of a villain, right? John Jones, great villain. Conor McGregor, the GOAT.
Great villain.
Chael Sonnen, Uncle Chael, who I love, the GOAT at being a villain. You know what I mean? There's a skill set to it. And a lot of guys don't have it. But I digress getting into my villain rant. But I think it was a great UFC fight weekend, and I'm looking forward to more of them.
My son, who is a huge fight, and my screen went out again, Pat, so I can't see anything. But you know what? My son, who is a huge fight fan as well, that was the fight he was looking forward to this weekend. Was the Bilal Muhammad fight. That's I think he's one of those guys that he's been raving about for the last little bit, that he thinks he's this next up and coming guy. He loves him, and he was rooting for Cejudo. Say it again.
Cejudo.
He was rooting for Cejudo. should be able to.
You have a Colombian wife.
Did you almost say sea otter?
A Spanish last name.
I was just gonna say I have a Colombian wife, and I'm having trouble. I should be able to say Sayudo.
I gotta say, why are you doing this to yourself? You know what I'm saying?
The chancla is about to come flying out of the other room. So, yeah, but
oh my God, that just triggered a memory of my grandma. Okay.
So but my son, who he'll be 21 soon. In fact, he popped his head in on a show the other day just when he walked in the door. I'm trying to get him to come on and do the show, talk about some fights because he really knows the fight. You
have a 21-year-old son?
Well, he'll be 21 in July. My daughter's 23.
Oh my God, Gene! I feel like I'm just learning so much about you right
now.
Well,
Gene's actually 75 years old.
I was about to say,
it's all the Botox.
I've had my AFP card for the last 25 years, so there you go. So my son is big into Bilal Muhammad too. He thinks he's like one of these fresh up and coming guys. He's excited about that fight more than the main event. So we're looking forward to seeing some more stuff pop up with the UFC. What's the next big fight, Caleb?
Oh gosh, well it depends on who now. Like big fight with well, we're waiting for the announcement of Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards. That's going to be big. There's also the John Jones Stipe Miocic fight that hasn't been like they keep playing around it, but that's like a big one that will be it. But I'll tell you this, Aljamain Sterling is going to fight Sugar Sean O'Malley, and it's supposed to happen in August or September of this year. So that will be another big one. And of course, when Conor comes back, Conor isn't relevant anymore outside of him just being Conor McGregor, right? Mm-hmm. And like these fighters, he's been losing a lot lately and this and that because the game catches up with you. You know what I mean? And so we'll see that, but Conor will draw a lot of attention. So there's that. I mean, shoot, Jake Paul is about to fight Nate Diaz. That's just a money grab. All this stuff. So there's a lot of things going on. But Amanda Nunes is about to fight. That's she's the only female double champ. She has a fight coming. It's there's a lot of interesting bouts that are on the horizon in the UFC, which I'm more than happy for.
Jake Paul is that
plugged in you are?
He's totally plugged in. So I figured let's get him out of the system now. That's great.
Totally, I love it.
But the Jake Paul thing is like you said it, money grab. Is that's definitely all it is, right? Like in all reality, does he even have a shot, Jake Paul?
Yeah, of course. He's gonna beat Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is old. He can't listen.
Yeah, but
if you know anything about how Nate Diaz fights, he's gonna get knocked out.
Actually,
his hands are down. He fights doing all this and like he's gonna get this. Boxing is here. It's here. It's straight down. Jake Paul is going to beat his ass. Watch.
Really? Okay. I'm listening.
It's not even going to be a fight. That's why he's fighting Nate Diaz. That's why I called it a money grab. Man, are you kidding? Nate Diaz cannot beat Jake Paul in a boxing match. It's not happening. Now, if they were fighting UFC, he can take him down and tap him out. No doubt, because he is a savant on the ground. His ground game, his ninjutsu, what do you call it? It's not ninjutsu. Yeah, it is. It actually is. But his style of Brazilian ninjutsu is insane. Like dude is ridiculous, but he can't beat Jake Paul in a boxing match. No. And Jake Paul's too young and too strong. Like he's strong.
So it's not going to be a regular it's going to be a boxing match then. It's not even going to be a UFC fight.
Yeah, it's going to be boxing. He's going to beat him.
That may be because he's
That's like when Tyron Woodley went into Tyron Woodley kind of made the change into boxing, and then I interviewed him before his fight with Jake, and and that was an interesting situation because I'm just thinking in my head like there's no way Jake is gonna like a YouTuber turned boxer, like whatever. That's so and I'm impressed honestly with what I've seen from Jake, which is interesting.
For UFC fighters to transition into boxing, they are losing 80% of their arsenal. No elbows, no knees, no takedowns, no kicks, right? When you have the threat of that changes everything.
And not only
if you're only worried about two hands, it's way different than worrying about elbows, knees, takedowns, all of that. Like you're constantly like this. That's why you see UFC fighters' hands and they're constantly moving because they're looking for because you can attack from all angles. Yeah. Boxing is just here. You know what I mean? So
you know what else you lose? You lose some of your instincts. Your instincts would be to go to do some of these other moves that you typically would be able to do. And now you're almost going to be even though it's going to be a split second, there's still that split second delay that you can't do certain moves.
Yeah, totally.
So that's got to come into Jake Paul's favor too.
It's a little unfair, but they get paid so much more when they go to boxing because they get because the UFC is a little bit different on how they pay fighters and all that.
Yeah.
And so Nate Diaz is going to probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he did in any of his fights, more than when he fought Conor and all that. Guaranteed. I'm almost certain of it.
Now, let me ask you this, because I heard you say ninjutsu. I don't have any idea what that is. What is the difference between jujitsu and ninjutsu?
No. We'll say there's a Brazilian style.
Capoeira, right? Capoeira?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's not capoeira.
Okay.
It's ground fighting. And what they're able to do, it's like what the Gracies introduced. Right? It's their style of being able to submit you from different angles, arm triangles,
so kind of like a different
all of the stuff on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Brazilian style. And I'm saying Nate Diaz is fantastic at that. Like he took Conor McGregor down and took his back and gave him his first defeat, tapped him. You know what I mean? And it's like that comes from that style. And the Brazilians introduced it through the Gracie family, brought that to the UFC. And so it's now a thing. And like Aljamain Sterling, who we talked about against Henry Cejudo, is also a savant at it. So like he's been able to tap out some of the best ground fighters in the game. Like there's a guy I love named Corey Sandhagen, who I thought was going to demolish Aljo. And Aljo tapped him out, real naked choke, get him out of here. You know what I mean? So it's like it's that. So it's not ninjutsu like Japanese style where you think like ninja. Oh, no. It's ground fighting.
Literally what came to my head. I was like,
yeah.
Chinese throwing stars and everything.
It's definitely not that. No nunchucks, none of that. You know what I mean? But it's the Brazilian style.
Cool. Well, thank you. I feel like I'm just going to quickly plug something that we are not affiliated with the show whatsoever for anyone watching. But when I do need a recap on fights specifically, I like to personally listen to the Fight Guys, which is through Bet Online, because they have Hall of Famer UFC fighter Rashad Evans, and they have, Mystic Zach Hirsch. So they're just wonderful and they have great interviews. So that's just something that I like to do because I'm either in bed before any primetime headliners fight because it's always so late, or I'm working because I work pretty much every weekend. So I like to get the recap kind of after, and that's something that's helped me for any of our viewers who, are like me and they're not watching it live, but kind of want to get the lowdown.
There you go. Go check them out.
Check out the Fight Guys.
So let's move over to some NBA basketball. And guys, I apologize. I'm not gonna be able to see the screen because my screen just went out. I don't know what happened. So I can hear you guys. So I apologize.
Right. You look good though. Don't worry.
I appreciate the compliments, but I can't see. So, but you know what? Let's get into that Knicks Miami game from Saturday. Knicks get the doors blown off, shooting 34% from the field, 20% from 3-point range. Robinson in foul trouble. What do we do to fix this, guys? I mean, Randall only 10 points. Can they win? They can't win with Randall only scoring like in low double digits like that. What do they need to do to right the ship in Game 4? Let's go to Caleeb first. Oh no, I'm sorry, Nigel. I'm going to say Nigel.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I don't know, man. Like, guys. The Hydra is still strong. I can't leave this topic because Miami Spoelstra and the rest of the crew they adapt so well, man. They adapt so well, and it's so dangerous, and it doesn't really matter. Listen, Gene. I don't know what you can do. I don't know what you can do because this is a scrappy fighting team. Like they've almost taken the Knicks look and just mirror them. Like they're the villain called Mirror Man. Like they're the villain called Chameleon because they're just now doing what you guys do just better. I mean, they're really banging it in there and they're just playing, quote unquote, dirty, right? Not to the point where it's like a lot of pointing fingers and like a lot of brash words. It's just, they're just getting down to it, man.
They're making it almost impossible to penetrate in the paint.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. So I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of this one, but from what I saw towards the end, it just looked like the Knicks were frustrated. So I don't know how the series is going to shape up. I do. Yeah. I have an idea. I have a very strong idea, and I don't think it's going your way, bro.
Keep it to yourself. Caleeb, do the Knicks have a shot in Game 4? Or are we starting to see the writing on the wall?
It depends if they come in for their curfew. See, what people don't understand, Nigel, when he's talking about the Hydra, you guys think he's just talking about the team. You guys are forgetting the city. Now, I don't know how y'all understand Miami or any of that, or how much time you've spent there, or if you're connected or plugged in. But trust me, those Knicks players are most definitely plugged in, and they're young. And I'm sure they were out there. They were what they call outside. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's why they're shooting 20 from 3-point. Because to hit a 3-pointer, you need your legs. You lose your legs when you do certain activities. You understand?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping social, but if those that know, those that don't, hey, oh well. But that's really what it is. The city is the best defense for the Miami Heat. They always are. That's just what it is. And them young boys in New York just realize. So we gonna see if they're gonna come in for curfew and go to sleep and get some rest and go to practice and be ready, and they can tie up the series. If they don't, that they continue to play hard, then they're gonna lose again. And they'll go down 3-1 back to Madison Square Garden, and that will be that. So if they go down 3-1, it's over. I don't think the Knicks can come back from a 3-1. They haven't shown me that they can. Versus Golden State, who we'll talk to, they can come back from 3-1. But I don't think the New York Knicks can. And we shall see. But I think really it's the city beat them. That's obvious. Just look at the numbers. Look at the significant drop off.
Yeah, I mean, the 3-point shooting has been abysmal. In game 2, it was abysmal. In game 1, it was abysmal. Game 3, it was abysmal. They gotta get it going, man. And game 4 is where, like, you know what it is that they're blocking off the paint, and they're basically saying, "Go ahead, shoot the ball," and they're just not knocking down shots because they're getting open shots from 3-point range. They're just not hitting them.
That's right.
Allie, what are we doing?
Not enough, clearly. I mean, you gotta make those better three. Just get the ball in the basket. For Julius Randle to have, you took points. Like 5 3-pointers. Yeah, none of them 10 points games. Like, and then quickly might be out because of his left sprained ankle. So it's doubtful he's going into game 4. I want, of course, even as a Nets fan, I want to see New York come out of this series, but with the way it's going. Oh my God, my Siri is like speaking to me on my computer. With the way it's going, with what we just saw, with quickly potentially out, I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Like, it's just not looking great for Knicks right now.
What here's the thing too. With quickly, he's doubtful for game 4, so there is a chance that we may see someone we haven't seen on a Knicks court in like half the season, maybe more. Evan Fournier, who can hit the 3-point shot. Could that be a weird maybe way to infuse the 3-point? Listen, he plays zero defense. Big time liability on defense. I already get that. I know that what Evan Fournier is. I know why he doesn't play because he's in Thibodeau's doghouse because Thibodeau likes guys to play defense as well. But if him getting some playing time, being able to a different look from 3-point range, can that help going forward if we get Fournier into the game? Or am I just like a hopeful Knicks fan? Say again?
I feel like they have nothing to lose. They should probably exercise all their options because this is it. And I feel like once they lose the next one, I feel like that's writing on the wall for the series. So, but that, I don't know. That's just me. And I don't want to shit talk anything, Gene. I know you're very hopeful and you're hanging on. Well, I'm kind of like ready to let go a little bit.
I had them going down 2-1. I thought they'd lose game 3, but then I thought they'd come back to game 4. It wasn't that they lost game 3. It's how bad they looked losing game 3. They weren't really in that game at all.
Atrocious.
What about you, Nigel and Caleb? What do you guys think about Fournier? Can he help the team bounce back, or is he too much of a liability on defense?
Well, I was going to say, I think the biggest thing here is for the Knicks not to panic. I think that's probably the biggest challenge they have to do is not panic and start shaking things up too much. Because that's when Miami beats you. Miami's going to get into your head, and then you're just going to panic. You're going to switch lineups. You're going to try and force things, maybe forcing people like Fournier to do more than they're capable of, and then that's when Miami's going to capitalize. So, I mean, I don't think Fournier is going to be like a difference maker. I mean, what he can bring to the table will help. If he is shooting the threes, that will definitely help. But I think the Knicks got to stick to their bread and butter, and they just got to make sure that they play the way that they've been playing, and just like and just bully the Knicks bully the Heat out of their position, out of their dominant positioning right now. Because right now they can do whatever they feel. That's what it looked like. And
you're 100% right. They are. It reminds me of one of the old '90s Knicks series against the Heat, like the early 2000s, late '90s, where there was like that toughness that they would play, that both teams would play with. Caleb, real quick on your thoughts on Fournier. Can he? What can he do? Can he? If they do decide to go that route, because they might not, they might decide to go to the Derrick Rose route, or even better question. Who do you go with? Do you go the Derrick Rose route or do you go the Evan Fournier route? Knowing that the 3-point problem.
It depends. I mean, look, it right now there is no, like, this is, if you don't get through this series, it's over. So you got to try everything. You got to try everything. You know what I mean? So I think Fournier, he can help. Derrick Rose, he's I don't know how much they trust him to come in and like what he would add. You know what I mean? Like this isn't Derrick Rose MVP, Derrick Rose. You know what I mean? So I think Brunson washes that out. I think you need more firepower. So that means somebody else got to step it up on defense. Maybe it's your boy RJ Barrett. You know what I mean? Like maybe like they gotta help that if you want a shooter in there. But I think the Knicks need some Pedialyte. Maybe some milk, you know what I'm saying? Like just some things to get their electrolytes up because they look very low energy. You know what I mean? They look drained. Yeah. So that's what I think.
They look like, you called it before, they look like they're victims of the Miami nightlife. So
absolutely, that's exactly what that looks like.
You just hope that you know what, they see what they have in front of them and they kind of snap out of it in time for Game 4, and they learn their lesson before Game 6 when they go back down for Game 6. You know what? To me, this is a must-win game because even if they lose this game and win in New York, I don't think they can come back and win in Miami Game 6 if they lose this game. So I think this is the most important.
They have to win 3 games in a row if they lose. Like that is almost. I would never bet that the Knicks could do that.
And it's crazy because it's exactly pretty much like it's what we seen the Heat do. Like. Totally just go on a run. Like once they get rolling, the Heat are tough to stop once they get rolling. Especially Jimmy Butler, as we've seen in the last round where it went the same way, right? They won the first one, lost the second, and then rolled right through. And that's kind of what's happening here. So you hope that they just, can stop the bleeding. Again, I planned on losing Game 3. I kind of thought we'd lose Game 3. I just didn't expect to lose it as badly as we did. But you know what? Hopefully we're going to be talking a little bit later on how to fix the Grizzlies. Hopefully we're not talking about how to fix the Knicks next week. Hopefully this goes a little bit further. But you know what? Let's get into the Golden State LA game. Another game where it was almost like it was like the switching of the teams, right? LA was 53 from the field, 48 from 3-point range, but Golden State was 39 from the field, 29% from 3-point range. When's the last time we've ever seen Golden State shoot that poorly, Caleb?
Oh, it's been a minute, but that's what happens with 3-point shooting teams because it's like everybody falls in love. The 3-point shot, everybody's in love with now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're gonna get way more shots up. You're gonna do that, and I think that number is kind of inflated because they were losing so bad. They were trying to shoot threes to try to catch up, and everybody's not Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. And I think Jordan Poole is abysmal in this series. He is absolutely not earning that money. I think they overpaid him anyway. They should have never gave him that money. I don't think he's worth that. He has to earn it. I don't think he did. And they're seeing that now, overpaying and no delivery. But he needs to step up because you need the other players because they're going to key in on Steph. They're going to be in on Klay. They're going to do that. And LeBron and AD are balling. Like we act like that's still not LeBron James. Like that's not Anthony Davis. I know he gets all the jokes, Mr. Glass and all that. But sometimes he's out there balling. And what do you do? And they didn't have an answer for it. The Warriors didn't, and I don't expect Draymond to be able to do it, but him and Looney together, I do. So you need DiVincenzo. I think it's DiVincenzo. Yep. Yeah, you need him to shoot. You need Wiggins, your boy. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on with my Canadian partner, but he got to step that up. Not only his defense, but his offensive productiveness too, because you got to help out Steph and Klay. We act like this is Steph and Klay 5, 6, 8 years ago. They're older now. You know how many miles they've been in the championship so many times? There's a lot of mileage on those legs. It gets tiring to have to do it all the time, and teams are keying in. So I think they need more of a collective effort. Do I think they win tonight? Yep, I do, because I believe in Steph and Klay. I think they're going to galvanize the team and they'll come through. But if the Lakers win tonight, it's going to be bad. But the Warriors is a team that I could say they could be down 3-1 and win 3 in a row. They're like that, not the Knicks.
I feel I 100%. I think, like I said it last round too, they could be a team that's down 3-0, be down going into the fourth quarter, and I'm still got a little faith that they could actually turn that whole series around. So I do trust them as well. But let me ask you a question, and Nigel, is the LeBron seem a little old to you? Like, I feel like we're starting to see him, like in this series alone, I feel like we're seeing him age. Like, he's still putting up points. Don't get me wrong, he's still doing things he needs to do. But I feel like it's a little bit more labored than I feel like it's been in the past. Does it look like he may be getting old and he's just kind of just doing enough?
Well, I mean, last 4 games he's been putting up 20+ points, right? So I mean that shows you that he's still in it. He's still doing the thing. Is he doing enough? I think he's doing his part at this stage in his career. I don't think. I mean, we're long past the days of LeBron putting up 30+, like 35s, like on average. That's long gone. Yeah. So I think he's doing enough for the team, for the squad that he has now. What that means is, again, Davis has got to step up, which Davis has actually done. It's been bananas. Again, the first game, we're all like, listen, it's fine. There's no way that they can keep that up. I mean, see, Davis last game at 25, and game before that, 11. I mean, and he's putting in time. He's putting in upwards of, 40 minutes plus, and just under sometimes. But they're here for this series, man. And I feel like a lot of this smoke that they're throwing, a lot of this shade is because the media not so much wrote them off early, but the media did just set the tone. And they did say, great, we love this matchup. We love LeBron. We love Steph. This is great for like generation to watch. But we all know that Steph and the squad's going to come out of, right? Okay, cool. What's the next series we need to write about? Like that. And I think that was the greatest motivator for this Lakers squad to come out of they came in through the play-in, right?
The Lakers, yes.
Coming through the play-in, then they win the series, and now they're back for this. This is a big deal, man. And so I think that the Lakers, they're not messing around. They're here to stay, and they want this thing to go the distance. I feel like now, I think I might have said that this series will go 5. I feel like it was going to go, 6. I think the series is going to go 7 because I just think that they're just going to go back and forth. This has been the most exciting series I think that we have in this round, in terms of like the storyline, and having Davis still play, like still come out, has been very interesting because you're on, it feels like you're on borrowed time with him a lot of the times. You're like, I don't know if he's gonna make it, but he just keeps doing it, man. And D'Angelo Russell, listen. He's the third, maybe the fourth guy that's like, y'all forget about me sometimes, but I'm out here. So it's
for $31 million, he better be, right?
Yeah, true. That's also true.
So he better be, but the amount that they're paying him. What's your take on it, Ali, as far as can they do this with AD putting up less than 20 points a game? I mean, they need him to step up and be like a 20+ guy, right? In order to be able to.
Yeah. So he put up 25 points?
25 and 13.
In game 3. So it's just it's a matter of him being consistent like LeBron. Like I love how Nigel said, he is playing a little more labored because he is getting old. Like that's just the reality. He's not putting up and averaging 30+ points a game, but he's nice and consistent with above 20. So as long as D'Angelo can keep helping out, as long as they're playing efficiently, it is really coming down to AD to not be so dramatic in the variation of his points being put up every game. If he can continue the 20+, really get up there, then I feel like it does come down to him, and it does kind of put a lot of pressure on him because we already know now what we can get out of him when he's really into it. So, I mean, we've always known that, but especially now after last game. So I think tonight being game 4, being in LA, I do feel like, I don't know, like I had Lakers coming out of this, but to Caleb's point, the Warriors now seeing, what the Lakers are putting up, are like, wait a second, like Steph is gonna like want to for sure just kind of take it back. So I don't. I mean, from you guys, do you think the Lakers have that home advantage like other teams do? Like we saw with the Kings having such a severe home advantage. I don't think
LA is that. I don't think LA has that. But this at the same time, and kind of to Caleb's point, I think that LA can go there and stomp them out tonight, and Golden State can still just win the next 3 games to take the series.
Yeah, this is going to be a 7-game series for sure. I do see them going back and forth. I don't know who's going to come out of tonight. Yeah, I don't know. Could be Lakers, could be Warriors.
I think that's why. Yeah, I think that's why this is one of the most intriguing, fantastic series that we've had in this round, because it doesn't feel like the home court advantage is a thing, because both teams are elevating above it. Even though, shockingly, Golden State had the worst of the two with their road records. It doesn't matter in this series because everybody can ball out. Everybody has been there before. Their experience now is what's going to matter, right? So it's going to actually levitate. And I think LeBron's back up against the wall, best time that he's going to play. Steph's back up against the wall, best time he's going to play. Like, things kind of equal out a little bit. And it also comes down to the bench too. If you look at those stats, even the bench put in minutes. I know the game ended up being a wash towards like the fourth quarter, so then coaches were just putting the rotation in. But I think even the lowest amount of numbers were like 5 minutes, 4 minutes for even the bench. So, and then it goes up from there. So even the bench is putting in time, because this thing is going to go the distance and everybody's going to get tired. Who is going to last? Who's going to be the last baller standing?
Well, I can definitely say this. I think what makes this series so fun is we have great players on both sides going at each other. I mean, Hall of Famer, like all-time greats, playing. But you also have a Hall of Fame all-time great coach going up against a former player who's now coaching, who's showing that he can hang. Because the coaching is huge, guys. Like the how they substitute, the plays that they call, all of that, on top of a great player doing it. You know what I mean? So that's what makes this so cool. I want to see and Darvin Ham is holding his own against Steve Kerr. This is really interesting. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I'm excited to see the calls and like the coaching level on top of the top level athletes in the game playing this sport.
Yeah, and again, I think this is one of those series where it could go 7 or it could go 5, and I think you're going to see some good games either throughout. I think if you're LA,
go 5.
It would be really we lose as fans. We lose out on that scenario, right? But I'll tell you what, I feel like LA's best chance is for it to go sooner than later. I think the longer it goes, listen, both teams are old. Don't get me wrong, none of them are young, but I feel like LeBron and AD are probably more prone to basically have a tougher time the longer the series goes, because they play a little bit more of like a tough bang-em type of style where Steph's going to just shoot from way back anyway. But I don't know if you guys saw, there was a clip of Steph sending a message to LeBron and Austin Reeves. Patty, do you have that video where Steph Curry talking some trash?
You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you. Shoe program, 23-hour lockdown.
Poor LeBron, poor Austin. Austin looks so scared, doesn't he?
Oh, God.
He's playing like my boy Austin Powers when he lost his mojo.
Yeah, he's not,
and he had to go find it. He's
kind of like all of the Knicks as well right now. But.
Yeah, he's like, dude, what is going on? He said, "Oh no, I've lost my mojo." You know what I mean? Like he's got to go back in time and go find it because he's playing like garbage. And I think Ham, if he doesn't do well, it got washed over last game because they just blew him out. But that could come back to haunt you. Like Austin has to be there because he's getting prime minutes. Like he's not getting like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. He's getting like 15, 20 minutes a game, sometimes more than that. So I think he's gonna have to step up. And you already spoke on the Warriors. It's Wiggins and Jordan Poole and Gary Payton II. Those three have to really show up. If not, it's gonna be really bad.
You know what's funny is Wiggins came from not off the scrap heap, but he hadn't played in so long, and he came into the first round and actually played really well the first round. Where you kind of thought, okay, listen, he's gonna have to kind of get his legs back, and he played really, really well. I think he outperformed what we thought he would do. And now this is the series where I think you'd say, okay, well, he'd be probably better in round 2 just because he needs to get his legs back. And it's the exact opposite. He was better in round 1. This one, he looks like a little like he's tired already. Like he's just the energy level is just not there for Wiggins. And hopefully he snaps out of it because he's super important to this team. super neat defensively and hitting clutch shots in the game. So.
Well, I mean, also he's playing the Lakers, man. Like the Kings is one thing. I mean, to take so much time off and then come back and I'm not throwing any shade or hate towards the Kings, because I think all of us here are all saying the same thing when it comes to the Kings. We can't wait to see their future. I'm super excited for them, but at the same time, you have a vet like Wiggins after playing and winning a championship with Golden State. He knows what they're capable of as a unit, but now he's got to step up even more. For sure, he's going to be tired playing the Lakers. For sure, he's going to be a little discombobulated because the game had just accelerated tenfold. I'll tell you this, it reminds me of the time where I went from high school to university playing football. The difference in speed, first of all, and I'm a wide receiver, so I'm one of the fastest dudes on the team. And now we're talking about linemen, linebackers, and then DBs and free safety, the secondary I have to deal with. And they are all, if not as fast as me, but twice as fast as me, because they're doing everything backwards. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know where I'm going. They have no idea. So I think it was that type of mentality where Wiggins really has to make the shift, and he has to step up, just like you guys are saying. Yeah. But now it's like even more crucial because, again, Caleb's point, loser goes home, man. They got no time. They got to make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get into last night's games. Boston, Philly. A good game last night, right? 116, 115 OT. Me and Caleb spoke a little bit about this because I said Tatum, you guys know I love to hate on Tatum. Tatum was ice cold, about as cold as can be in the first half. Heated up in the second half. Actually looked like it was like the tale of two cities, tale of two halves. He played the exact opposite second half. He ended up having like 18 boards. Just a little too late. Too late. But again, Harden, 42 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, so close to a triple-double. And then Embiid, 34 points, 13 rebounds. Can they, we've seen Harden really excel in this series when they've won. Allie, can the Sixers win without Harden going off?
Oh, I mean, the reason they literally won last night was because of him hitting that, winning shot in the last 30 seconds. But I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe last series he wasn't. Well, last series is different because I love my Nets, but they would have won anyway without Harden. But no, for this series, I feel like he's pretty essential, or at least showing us that he's putting up, good points. Marcus Smart, obviously, had he just hit that like buzzer beater, they would have won. So you're seeing how every single second matters, and having Harden is big, I do think, especially for the series.
Caleb, what's your take on it, man? Can they if Harden has a quiet game, can Philly still win a game, or are they pretty much done? They go as far as Harden takes them.
Well, I think they do go as far as Harden and Embiid, and I think Harden he doesn't have to go for 40, but he has to be at least 20, like in the mid 20s. Like he has to be able to hit, or he has to it's not how many threes you hit, it's when he hits them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that could be big. And the thing I'll say is this, to me, I blame Jason Tatum for the Celtics loss last night, right? Because Harden hits the bucket. There's just say 10 seconds left. They're bringing the ball up court. The coach walks up towards halftime. He's looking at Tatum. Basically, he wants to call timeout. Tatum waves him off. He does this, right? And the coach says, okay. And so Tatum passes it. They get it. He calls for the ball back. Boom. He's like, I got it. It's me. I'm like, okay, here we go. Let me see it. You know what I mean? And he goes. And the Sixers are there. They double him, and he doesn't take the shot. So he tries to bail himself out and just throw it to Smart. Smart's like, yo, okay. He got lucky and hit it, but it was too late. Tatum has to take it. You either shoot or you go up and get the foul. Because
every second counted.
You called the coach off. The coach had 2 timeouts. He wanted to use it. Tatum was like, nah, right? Once you do this, the coach is like, you a superstar. Go ahead. Take us to the promised land. And he didn't. That was a huge push off, right? When Michael did it to Byron Russell, because my boy's like, but your boy did it. Nah. Michael, he was already going by. Michael just helped him. Tatum was like, Tatum gave him that forearm, man. And they didn't call it, and he hit it nothing but net. He needed to do something like that again. Once you wave off the coach and you saying it's on me, you gotta do it. You can't be looking for somebody to bail you out because you get trapped. It's like Expect the double team. Expect whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you got to know the time. So make that decision. If you saw Smart was there for a minute. Smart waved his hand and everything. Yeah. So when you see it, dish it. But no, he wanted to take it and then realized he couldn't and then won. It's like, come on, man. Yeah.
It was an absolute sucker move, if you ask me. And Nigel, I ask you this, true or false? Tatum is the most overhyped star in the league, and he's absolute hot trash, correct?
Oh, man, it's so, you put it so harshly. I
can't ask the Canadian like that.
Yeah, I guess, especially an improviser like, yeah, true. But I put a caveat in there, man, only because I want to give Tatum half a bushel of flowers for his performance last night, because for him to be so cold for so long, he still did things. He still got rebounds. He got 18 again, like we talked about. Yeah. So he put in his time. He got 6 assists. So the guy knew, and you could see it in his face, that he knew he just could not buy a bucket if his life depended on it. I think with like 7 seconds left before half, he scored his first bucket or something. Or sorry, 7 minutes. But it's like for him to consistently like pursue scoring or contributing, I got to give him a shout out for that, but I digress. To Caleb's point, and I didn't see the wave. I didn't see the wave off part. So like knowing that changes the outcome of not only the game, of your own psyche, of your reputation, and of what the legacy is for you in this team at this moment, man. Like, you're still the cause of what could stop this Celtics team from going to another championship and actually winning it. It's potentially there. Yeah. So it's rough to say. Shout out to Marcus Smart. I mean, doing everything he can. What I really loved is when he took the shot, when the buzzer rang, so we didn't get the shot. He went back to the bench, and you could see him. The camera followed him, and he was working on his stroke. He was like, "Oh man, if I just got the stroke, What was interesting to me is that he also had the last shot in overtime that could have helped him to win the game. Yeah. And everything was just like he practiced it when he was walking to the bench. And I was like, you can't write this. I hope everybody saw the detail. And obviously that didn't work out because it was way after. But just to see that, man, to see this game, I don't even know how to feel about this series, because this series keeps flipping, flopping. Like, it's so close and so sporadic. And like, Harden, what? Classic Harden? Where is he coming? Where the fuck is he coming from? I don't drop the F-bomb lightly, but I'm just so perplexed by his performances now, because he is a killer. He's a killer right now, and nobody can stop him. Embiid won MVP, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, that might be the first Canadian F-bomb ever.
In recorded history.
Yeah, but we use it in the select time, so it means more.
I get it.
That's better. That's better.
Yeah. Emphasis.
You're watching James Kardashian. You know what I'm saying? That's vintage James when he was with Chloe when times were good.
Yeah, man. So what's our outlook for the rest of this series, Caleb? What do you think? Where's the series headed?
I think it's 7 games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll go 7 because Embiid gave it, but like, he hasn't had his big takeover game against them yet, and I think that's coming. He may have it the next one, but I think it's going to stay really competitive. But I really think it's going 7. I hope it goes 7. I love 7 games. I love when you get to the 7th game, because all bets are off, and it's about who you are you're all equal athletically. It's all about who has that heart and desire, and who spent more hours in the gym to actually hit that shot when it's needed. You know what I mean? Because you can hit 100 shots all game, and then when you need to hit it brick, what does it matter? Like when the Warriors won 73 games. Oh, we beat the Bulls. We're the best team ever. LeBron said, "Hold my beer." Right? Like, come back from 3-1. And it's you know what I mean? Like, no. And Michael Jordan said it. He was like, I don't care how many games you win. You ain't win the championship. You ain't the best team. Yeah. And like it's so true. So the 72 Bulls are still the best team. Like, they still, because the Warriors couldn't even close the deal, up 3-1 at that. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not about everything you do before. It's about when it matters. Can you step up when it matters, right? Anytime I'll say this and I'll stop. Anything in history of any kind of sports or in anything, it's when you do it. The reason why Muhammad Ali is called the greatest is not because of all the people he beat. It's the ones he beat when he shouldn't have. George Foreman made him the greatest of all time. Yeah. People thought George was going to kill Muhammad. He was going to die, and he knocked him out. That takes you to another level. In basketball, had Tatum hit that 3 last night, like had he hit what he did with the forearm in overtime to match what James did, it would be such a different conversation. You see what I mean? So it's all about when you do it. So it's that Warriors series that I just talked about, that made LeBron James where people are like, is he better than Michael Jordan? Because look what he did. Came back from 3-1 and then beat them. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's all about the moment when you do it.
I get it for sure. All right. So then, again, you guys down there, Ali and Nigel, are we thinking same thing, 7-game series? Because this is such a back and forth. Absolutely.
It
has that feel of it, the way it's just.
I think you said this before, Gene. Like, Harden doesn't need to be putting up 40 plus points every game, but the fact that we know he can, and like Caleb said, this is when it matters. If he's going to continue to carry that through, it's definitely going to 7. I mean, absolutely, it's back and forth into the end. I see that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to push back slightly. I think it's going to go 6.
Okay.
I think that for me, this is one of the games where this home court advantage thing is pretty massive. Both fans are rabid for their teams, and both benches or both teams feel the same way about their fans and play with their fans' emotions. So I feel like this is going to go 6, and I feel like it's going to go Philly though. I feel like there's something the Boston just is too. They're too soft when it comes down to it as a collective team. They're just not as aggressive. And I think to Ali's point, man, it's the fact that Harden can do it, or Caleb, like it's this Harden can do it. Embiid hasn't had his, which is also wild to think of because Embiid just had 34.
I was just saying that before. Caleb had 30. Not Caleb. I was Caleb's point before. He had 34 and then 30 the game before. And Caleb's right. He still hasn't had that moment, but he's still putting up big points. Yeah. And you're right, Caleb. He hasn't had that moment where it's like, it's because the times that he had those points is Harden has gone off.
Yeah.
So
well, I got one question. Like, why is it when a light-skinned brother is the head of a team, they always call soft? Golden State, now Boston. Like, anybody that's light.
Who said Golden State soft? Steph is not soft.
The only reason why Phoenix, and even Phoenix, when they lose, they call like soft, but they don't, because they still got KD and Chris Paul. So they're like, okay, the brown-skinned brothers, but if Booker's the face, they soft. I swear, man.
We've just seen how cold-blooded Steph can be. We just seen how cold-blooded Steph can be talking to LeBron and Austin Reeves. So we got to take Steph out of that. But listen,
vicious guy.
Tatum could be green, red. Tatum could be. He to me is just a soft player. Doesn't matter what color he is. There's something about Tatum that he just does not pass the sniff test for me, man.
I get it.
Because I need to finally see
in the right moments.
Yeah,
and the thing is, the league is trying to push. It's kind of like we said before, where when you try to force being someone down, somebody's like in the fighting game, where you try to put this guy out there, and it's like the crowd. You're not going to make the crowd like him anymore. Same thing. Like the league has really pushed Tatum on us to be like, oh, he's a star. He is a
baller though, Gene. You can't act like he's not good. Like, dude is dope.
He's all right.
He just doesn't. It just doesn't do it in the last 15 seconds. He makes like not air. It's like bonehead mistakes. Like he's not reacting quick enough. He didn't recognize the track fast enough to know to dish it. That's what I mean. Like he got tracked and then was like, oh shit. Oh, Marcus. You know what I mean? And by then it was too like that's what I mean. Like you gotta be locked in. You know what I mean? When you wave off the coach, it's on you.
It reminds me of when A-Rod, when he was with the Yankees, he was so great in the regular season, but the postseason would come and he'd bat 150. It's very similar. I feel like in the big moments,
the captain was completely different. Jeter, when he get to switching that bat like that, you already know it base hit. Like Derek.
My favorite baseball player of all time.
Stepped up. He stepped up.
Everyone's, I feel like.
And listen, all the pressure is on you because baseball. The thing about baseball that I love, why I can watch it in October, is because it's literally one-on-one.
Yeah.
There's nobody else out there except the pitcher
no one's saving
and the
you,
batter. That's it. And you see it. And like for Jeter to step up those times when he did, man, like it's otherworldly. You know what I mean? And like I said, it doesn't matter what you do when the chips, aren't down, but it's when it comes down. Harden stepped up. Harden hit that shot. I didn't think he was. He netted it. Tatum waved off the coach. It was his turn, and he, that's all I'm saying. That's why I think he has a bad narrative. But they want to push him as a face of the league because he's young, he's extremely talented, good looking, all of that. Like, come on. That's what that is. You know what I mean? But
but you gotta hit a clutch shot. You gotta
step up.
And eventually, he will eventually. And and everything will take off from there. I'm sure his moment is going to come.
Maybe everybody said Charles would win a championship eventually.
Yeah, that's a good point.
and now that's just a running joke in like a travel commercial or something. You know what I mean?
Which might be one of the best commercials out right now with young Charles. And he said, "Don't tell me I want to be surprised."
Yeah, it's great.
Wait, before we segue into Nuggets Suns, so we just talked about Derek Jeter, and you're like one of my favorite players, Gene. And I was like, me too, like probably like the best of all time. Nigel went.
You actually saw that. You saw that.
I just want to dip into that for a second because did I speak on behalf of all New Yorkers? When I feel like it's a collective, like, Derek Jeter, everyone, like the way I grew up, the time I grew up, like kind of such a role model. But for you, Nigel, I just want to dip into that conversation for a second.
We can dip in. We dip in and we'll dip right out. Listen, it for sure is you kids. It for sure is you kids being straight up New Yorkers, man. And I get it. I would too.
Okay, that makes sense.
I would too. For me, one, baseball is too long. Period. So when Caleb was like
shorter now, thank God.
Well, yeah, give or take. Agree to disagree. When Caleb said, like, in the playoffs, like the reason he said, quote unquote, the reason why I can watch October baseball, ... That's fair because I can watch October baseball too because there is so much at stake and the game is so it's so spontaneous. It's not you going back and forth and trading runs. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But it's so much harder to hit this little white object with this brown bat. I did that on purpose. Light brown bat. You know what I mean? But it's so much harder to the probability is so much harder to do that and to either place it or to get a run or to get a home run off of these guys that are throwing it almost 100 miles per hour. So when it's October and you have your 4-game or your 3-game series, your 7-game series, whatever, 5-game series, 7, whatever that is, I'm down because this is when every at bat matters. Every single and the strategy for a pitcher to throw a ball, man, like that's if you throw the wrong slider to the wrong guy, or if you throw something that's like a little inside on the left-handed batter,
left hanging over the plate for a minute.
You know what I mean? And that momentum can shift on a dime, and it's so much more exciting for me. But I digress. I'm a homer. I'm a guy who loves my Jays. So I'm like an old school guy.
John Olerud,
like George Bell. Like give me those. Like I'm a classic old school fan. But if I was to pick one guy, I'd probably say him in the Ken Griffey Jr. camp. That's kind of there was something about him and how Seattle was bad for so long, but he was a true guy who stepped up, and he was a face of not only the franchise but of MLB for decades. You know what I mean? And he's still a recognizable icon. And I just liked. I don't know. There's just something about him. But I get what Jeter. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna fight you on that. I'm just like you guys haven't been more New York if you tried.
Fair.
I can understand every other city in the world hating on Derek Jeter because he didn't have any he wasn't great at anything specific other than winning, right? I mean, he was really good at a lot of things.
His mindset too.
His mindset, the way he approached the game, that was really where I think he won every at bat that he won. But he was just great in the moment. Kind of like what we're talking about. It's the exact opposite of Tatum. We're talking about with Tatum, with Caleb. It's the exact opposite. Point. He might, when the moments were the biggest and the at-bats were the biggest, is when he would shine the greatest. And so Nigel's wrong.
No, it's true. It's like those hits, if Jeter would have got half of those hits in the playoffs, the conversation would be different. You know what I mean? Just half. You would be like, oh, if he missed a couple of those ground balls or flies or those direct line drives that he would snatch and then turn it, right? And all of that. Like if he missed it at the right time, it would have changed everything. People still talk about Bill Buckner to this day for one fucking moment.
He had a whole episode on Curb Your Enthusiasm over that one moment.
Hall of Fame career. He was phenomenal. One moment. He'll be remembered for one moment. That's what I mean. That's how important moments are. We can never forget that.
So, if you need anybody to tell you about race relations in baseball, just go see Nigel Downer. He'll little white balls and big black bats.
And light skinned brothers in sports for sure, man. It's Caleb. Listen, this is going to be a whole different. We'll do a spinoff podcast on this. Yeah, we'll call it the color code in sports, and we'll talk about just like.
No, but there's a lot of that in sports. There is, and it's covered up. Because we try to be convenient. I know that's not a word, but I like to use it. So you know what
I like it. I'm with that.
Yeah, he tries to be convenient about it, but it's always there. And where you see it most, well, I'm not going to talk about soccer because it's ridiculous. Like it's really offensive. But like in fights, it's right underneath it. It's right there. You know what I mean? And yeah, so it's there. That is a real thing. But shout out to Jeter. He was the first one to rock the Yankee cap like that, right on top of the thing, low and boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? He had it fly. He had the white girls loving him. They was like, oh my God. They didn't even know his dad was black. His dad is black? Oh my gosh.
That and famous for pre-gaming it with Mariah Carey. Famous for getting dropped off.
Jeter was the man. If they would have had social media the way they do now, then we might even look at Jeter doing it.
Well, we all heard about the gift baskets, right? We know about the signed balls and gift baskets.
Is it? You guys are New Yorkers. Is it true? Is that what he used to do?
I like to think it was. I'd like to think in my world, Derek Jeter did all those things. In my world, that was Derek Jeter to me. So I'm hoping
he used to go on and off the
field. He's a badass. Yeah. I see that.
That's the Derek Jeter I root for. So in my head, that's my Derek Jeter. So yes.
Oh God.
Do it.
So
anyway, back to basketball.
All right, so back to some NBA. Let's talk some hoops. A series to me that started off slow, but is I think starting to now quickly become my favorite series in this postseason. Denver and Phoenix, and you know what? Shout out to Abby because she was very, very happy yesterday. I spoke to her, and she was very livid. We'll talk about it in a minute with Jokic versus the Suns owner in the third quarter. But you know what? Listen, they've stepped up these last couple of games in Phoenix. They've turned it into a series. I think 2 games ago we looked at it like, okay, we don't really have a series. This might be a 5-gamer. They've turned it into a series. So my question is this, and we'll start over with Caleb. Is Phoenix better without Chris Paul right now?
Of course. And shout out to TNT, their show. Kenny the Jet Smith laid this out perfectly. He said, when you without Chris Paul, now you have Payne. He's like, look how fast the offense can run. From one rebound, he goes free throw line to free throw line in seconds. Chris Paul can't do that. They said when KD gets the rebound, he has to give it to Chris. They slowly come up and they have to get set. But with Payne, they're running, and it affected the It affected the Nuggets defense. They're not able to get back and set up as quickly and be ready because the Suns are moving so much faster because Payne is running the point. I think that is a huge difference, and it's major. They are absolutely better without Chris Paul because Chris Paul slows the game down because he can't keep up, right? The game has changed. It's different. You can slow the game down when you're going in. You're going to toss it up to Shaq. Or if you got a Joker, or you got an Embiid, or you got a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or you know what I mean? Somebody like that in the middle, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing for Eugene. You know what I mean? Like somebody that you can throw it into and everybody can set up around and you play inside out. But the game has changed. It's outside in and all outside now. It's all outside. So it's like Ayton is not one of those dudes. So he's more of this new generation where he's running up and down the court. So you need that. I think Chris Paul slows the Suns down to where they they allow teams to set up when they need to be able to catch teams off guard. So without Chris, they're moving faster. With Chris, they're slower. So that's my take on that. But again, they have no answer. And my boy Stephen A calls him the light-skinned Mamba. And I don't really like that. I think light skin is a little too much. Just call him the yellow Mamba. Because hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Kobe was called the black Mamba, not the African-American Mamba. You know what I mean? My boy Jason Williams was white chocolate. What is wrong with putting a color on something? Like we act like come on now. He's the yellow Mamba. I love that for D-Book. And he is a beast. There's no answer for him. And he's a problem. And he actually inspires KD. When Book gets going, KD's like, oh shit, I can't let the yellow Mamba outdo me. I'm still the Slim Reaper, which is a fantastic name, by the way. You know what I mean? So they get each other going, and I think Chris Paul is like slows it down a little too much.
So, what do you think, Naj? You agreed on that point?
Oh, 1000%, man. Like it's literally like watching night and day. It's the difference between that and just now how Denver has just been running away with the series just because they're playing so much faster. Now it literally was just everybody just trying to get who can get down the court faster. That's what it was. And I think it was Booker. It was the end of the first quarter, an inbounds play. Booker like launched it past half to Durant. KD, he did like what receivers do, which is if we can control the football, if we get a pass that's a little wily, if we can control it, what we'll do is we'll stop it or we'll bat it so then we can actually grab the ball if it's up in the air with one hand. And that's what he did. He batted the ball so he could grab it with his two hands. And then as soon as he hit the ground, he was up immediately, shot the three, boom, got it. And to watch them do that, Chris Paul would never. First of all, Chris Paul can't make that throw. There's no, he can't. His shoulders are too big. He can't make that throw. So we're not. So to Caleb's point, you're not looking for that anymore. So the defense doesn't have to be all the way down the court to watch for KD. And watching KD like slice and watching Booker do the thing, these guys, and I know we just showed the numbers. This is crazy. Both 36 points. The pair of them, they both had 36 points. And then Durant had 11 rebounds and Booker had 12 assists. Listen, this is a game now. Like these two guys are out there and they were having fun. I mean, the playoff thing was there, like the competitiveness, the competitive nature, but they're they're getting to this point where they can have fun and they can ball out. And Denver just showed us that, first of all, Murray's sick, but Denver, all five of their starters double digits. The Joker 53 points and they still
11 assists.
53 and 11. This is why this game was bananas and it was so fast. And they still lost. It's crazy. I love it.
I have to just real quick before Ali jumps in. I just have to say this. I agree with Shaquille O'Neal 1000%. Joker is the best big man in the game. Period. He's better than Embiid. I don't care what nobody say. He's better all around. He's number one. Go ahead.
Now let me ask you this though, because and Ali. We've seen Phoenix have an issue with their bench all season long, just not being well. I guess after the trade, really, not so much all season long. In the postseason, Shamet had 19 points yesterday. If he steps up, that gives them an extra oomph going further the series. Does that bench help them actually pull off a road win? Do you think that because right now everybody's won their home games, so everything's they always say that the series doesn't really start until somebody wins a road game. Can Phoenix go into Denver and steal Game 5?
Yes, I do think so. I see the Suns coming out of this in 6 games.
Ooh, I would love it.
I love what you said, Caleb, about how KD's stepping up because of Booker. Like both of them getting 36 points. It felt fun. There is not even a doubt in my mind. Murray, yes, Nigel Murray's sick. Jokic sick, absolutely. But to do that, to put up 53 points and to not really getting the help he needs, if he's just him, I don't see a chance next to like Booker and KD continuously putting up those points. Like that was like, what if they both did, 40 each, regardless of the numbers? I just think that what they have, what both teams have, some incredible pieces, but I see the Suns coming out of this. And I see it because it's fun and because I think Booker is really like you just said it so well. Just really like leading KD to help him like remember like who he is. Like, you know, we were chanting, and
it's not want to see the young buck kind of like, because I think Booker might be having the best postseason in basketball right now.
No, he is. Booker is out. He's balling. He's not
pull up
waiting
his
for
stats again
anybody.
first, Patty.
So he's forcing KD to step up. You know what I mean?
Look at these games here.
KD is more than capable, and that's been the knock on KD his entire career, that he's not an alpha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Booker is an alpha, and
look at this last handful of games.
Yeah.
I
mean, he's amazing.
27 is his low. His worst game is 27 points.
27 in his low.
He's got 47 twice. He's got 45. He's got 36, 35, 30. Like, you know, you're having a great postseason when you have a 27-point game and you're saying that was my off game.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's amazing. And here's the deal. I still think the Nuggets are a better team, and I think that they will win the series. Huh?
They're deeper for sure.
Yeah, I think they're the better team. The Suns have the better players. They got KD and Book. KD and Book are better than any combination with Joker out there. They're better than Joker and Jamal. They're better than Joker and whoever else, right? They are. But the thing is this: one game where one of them doesn't have a good one and they lose changes everything. That's the thing. That's the thing. Joker had 53 points, but his rest of his team, they did good, but they weren't there. If they ball out, it's like if Porter Jr. hits 6 threes, 5 threes, 4, like changes everything. So I still think the better team is the Nuggets, but here's the difference with basketball than any other sport outside of fight sports and tennis and stuff like that is one person or two people can really change a game, as you see with Steph and Clay, right? If they both get hot, you just go home. You know what I mean? So, but it doesn't matter how hot a quarterback can be with his favorite receiver, that you're not going to win the game. That, you know what I mean? It doesn't. It's like it's different. It really is. So it's going to be interesting.
Now let's talk about the issue, because I'm sure we all saw it by now. If we didn't see it live, we saw it by now. Jokic running off the court, ripping the ball out of the Suns owner's hands. I get it that, you know what, it's still like you can't just rip the ball. There's referees that can go get the ball. He had no reason to have to run to the corner of the court to rip the ball out of this guy's hands. Like, what do you like, dude? Sit back, wait. Refs will get the ball. Was this him trying to be like a jerk? I look at it or let me ask you this. Should he have been ejected for the game?
No. You know what?
This he did. I mean, then he nudged. He did hit the.
Gene, we all disagree with you. We all disagree with you. No, we all disagree.
Let me just say, I'm not even saying because he's the Suns owner. That should be irrelevant. Let's just call him a fan of the fans.
Yes,
he rips the ball out of his hands
aggressively. Give the ball back immediately.
But he wasn't.
Joker was trying to get the ball to go up court.
That's exactly. I think it's three of us against you, Gene, and we all feel the same.
You can't stop the flow of the game.
Me and Abby were texting back and forth saying he needs to be ejected.
No. You're stopping the flow of the game. Yep. Joker was trying to get the ball. He's like, "Come on, we're ready." Like
you can't hold on to it. I get anxious when it'll come off the court and a fan grabs it and they don't do it and they don't throw it back immediately. Like I start getting anxious because I'm like, you're messing. Like
you're messing the flow of the game.
You're not supposed to be hanging out with it for a couple seconds. It's just
hell no. And I
would. So you don't even agree with you don't agree with the technical then?
No. You could call that, but not really. Because here's the deal. I would have told the owner, "You're lucky you own the team, or you'd be out." Because here's the deal. I would say you're purposely trying to slow the game up. Because it's your team out there.
You could look at it that way. Mm-hmm.
It's your player, and you know there's 4 on 5, and Joker's like, "Give me the ball so we could go." You're like, "No, we're gonna wait for my guy."
But he wasn't It's not like he was looking. He was looking the other way. So he's holding the ball like this.
Nah, you're falling for the
jump. What are you looking the other way for? Yeah. You catch it, you throw it back. You catch it, you throw it back. That's it.
Hey, you know what?
Did you think Joker really pushed him that hard?
Yeah.
That was
he definitely flopped. In fact, when they called on the broadcast, they called it Chapel. They called the Duke Chapel Hill flop.
I get it.
It's like when people try to throw themselves in cars and they're like, "Oh my God, it was a hit." And it's
like, nah, man. He knew exactly what he was doing, and it's gamemanship, which is why Joker shouldn't get ejected. There shouldn't have been no thing. Like, it's gamemanship. He grabbed the ball on purpose, held it, turned his head to act like I don't see the 7-foot Serbian nightmare screaming for the ball.
we got to remember, I want to make this point, and I want to make it loud and clear. We got to remember that with Joker's, with his European background, with his Serbian background, what is the sport that is closest to him? That sport is soccer. And what happens in soccer, or football as it's correctly called, what happens there is that when the ball, if it goes to a fan, if it goes up the sound to the free kick and the ball's out in the wild, even the guys on the bench, it is immediately thrown back into the game. And even the dudes that are in play on the field, if they take the ball and they're kind of making the time run out because they're trying to make their argument, the other player will come over and grip that ball from their clutches to place it so they can have the free kick so the game can continue. Because you are doing exactly what Caleb's saying. You're doing exactly what Ali's saying, is you're stopping the momentum, the flow of the game, and it's shifting ever so slightly, or whatever that degree is, from the team that has that momentum. You cannot do that, especially in a playoff game of this magnitude with the levels so high. That's why things got so intense, because at that point of the game, things are out of control. The roof was ready to pop right off of that sucker, man. And now you're the owner. Guess what, man? You're actually the one who's putting you're putting a bad face on your franchise, and you're putting a bad look for fans, man. Everything was going somewhat smoothly throughout all the playoffs, and then the owner's the one to slow down this momentum. I'm siding with Joker. I mean, listen, the technical thing, that's up for debate for me. I understand why they had to doll it out. I get it, but because you can't let that action go without any repercussions. I understand that, but we got to remember, you cannot hold the ball, look the other way and do all this shenanigans. Yo, throw the ball back. Let's get the game popping. Let's get it going.
I'll tell you what
just real quick, Gene, just before you say your point, but just remember this. In American football, teams try to do that. They try to kick the ball. They try to do the ref.
Yeah, or the defensive guy lays down on the ball carrier a little too long.
That's right. You cannot do that.
I get it.
Yeah, so that's what
my biggest mistake was not bringing this argument up until Wednesday when Abby's here. So Abby at least would have had my back. So that was my biggest mistake.
I would love to hear Abby's side of it, outside of her emotions. Like, if she could actually give a real argument as to why Joker should have been ejected or suspended or whatever. You know what I mean?
I don't know about suspended. I was like, I think, you can't put your hands on a fan. That's not the Suns owner. That's a fan at that point. And he gave him a little forearm shiver, man. He gave him a little nudge with that forearm. He did. I mean, listen, I wouldn't call it the malice at the palace, but it was pretty close.
They definitely kicked the fan out that touched Joker, though.
Yep, they did. And all he did was he just patted his shoulder and he gets ejected.
Touch a player.
Well, Joker gives the forearm elbow to the Suns owner, and he's allowed to continue to play. I don't get it.
The owner's technically a player too. You part of the team.
So nobody agrees with me then. Is that where
not today. No,
moving on. Moving on. All right, moving on. I'll wait till Wednesday to bring this up with Abby. We're gonna get into more headlines. Let's talk a little before we get into headlines though. Let's talk about fixing these Memphis Grizzlies. They already made one move where they've already announced one move by not bringing back Dylan Brooks. What do they need to do? Is bringing back Steven Adams from injury? Could that be what fixes everything, Caleb? Is that the major move? Or what else do they need?
They need more firepower. They need Ja Morant to actually become a real superstar outside of popularity and really develop his game. He has to get a short game. He has to get a mid-range game. He has to develop his outside shooting. It all can't be a dunk. It's not that. Like you gotta evolve and really understand the style of this new way of playing. And they need more firepower. The league is all firepower now. It's like you gotta be able to score with these teams, and you need people that can run up and down the court. So Steven Adams may be past that. He would have helped this season, but maybe next season he won't. Like, maybe you go and get a younger dude that can run up and down, that's less injured, that doesn't have all of those issues. Because Steven Adams been in the league since I think 47. You know what I mean? I think he was playing back in the day with Bob Cousy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm joking, but you get my point. So I think they need they got to get some more pieces, but Ja has to develop his game. I think it really showed his lack in the series with the Lakers.
What do you think, Naj?
I'll piggyback off that 1,000%. I mean, Caleb and I have seen eye to eye on how Ja conducts himself on and off the court, especially on the court. He does definitely need to add some more weapons to his arsenal. I think another thing, in addition, is that if it's not Steven for the next season, what those two need, and when I say those two, I mean what Steven and Ja need is they need to have that like Stockton Malone type relationship. You need to have that kind of thing where it's like they're an actual threat, like a dual threat. We need, because they don't have
Adams
that right
isn't
now.
that though. But Adams isn't that.
No, I understand he's not that, but I'm saying they need to, if they can't fix anything else, if they can't do anything else, they need to create some kind of thing that makes them a threat. So now the defenses have to adjust to one or the other. Like they have to pick one, and they can do things together because they're not. Everybody's playing like individuals. Adams just happens to do good things in terms of rebounding and getting buckets. He
does the dirty stuff.
He does all the dirty stuff.
Not dirty, like you know what I mean?
Puts in the work. Yeah, it puts in the work. And then Ja is solo as well, who is just like he's throwing his body above the rim and he's doing things that can injure himself and other players, but they're not doing it cohesively as a team. So I think whatever that thing is, whether it's Adams like stepping his game up and just working with Ja, or they get another forward, they get another power forward, somebody who Ja can really bounce off of. So we do have that look, that Booker Durant kind of look. And they also need an outside threat. The game has changed. Caleb said it a million times. The game has changed. They need somebody Ja can run in and dish it out, and that person is an actual threat. So they need either a rookie shooter to come in, or they need to figure out some other pieces how they can manipulate the league and get what they need. So I feel like they need a lot. Like I think they're going to be fine, but they need a lot.
I think they need more firepower because Bane is fire. Like Bane can shoot, and Bane is that. You know what I mean? But
and
I think they need more.
Yeah, in addition to
more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about? We know that there's talk that Siakam could be on the trading block for Toronto, and I don't mean to take one of your stars over there.
If he went to Memphis,
Nigel,
that's a problem.
Yeah, that's
that could be that Stockton. That would be that Stockton Malone thing that Nigel was talking about.
Great.
And then you'd let Steve Adams be Adam Eaton. If we all remember the old Utah Jazz players, Adam Eaton was the guy that just rebounded. You know what I'm saying?
An instant Western contender, big time.
Yeah.
Adding Siakam, like, oh my God, like that's exactly the type of player they need. Like that changes everything.
Agreed.
Because he can play defense and he can ball. Like he's great on the offensive side and defense. It's what Ja would need. It helps Bane. It changes everything.
You imagine those two on the pick and roll too. Those two on a pick and roll.
Oh my God.
Every night. It would almost be. You would know it's coming, and it would almost be impossible to defend.
He did this season with us. Like it's coming. You know it's coming. And he can still make that athletic move because he's also Siakam is also a massive athlete. Like he's a great positional player, and he's just an amazing athlete. So yeah, that's somebody that I would hate to lose him, but I mean for the sake of seeing Memphis get out of this trench that they've dug, sure.
Yeah, I know. Again, I only say because I know he's on the block. Whether he really gets moved or not, I don't think he does. I think they're more likely to move OG more than Siakam, because I know they're both on the block. They've been trying to move OG since last trading deadline, and it just I guess they didn't find the value there. And we talked a little bit about on Friday. We'll bring it up a little bit later, Nigel, because I want to know your opinion. Because we fixed we did fix the Toronto Raptors, and we fixed the Dallas Mavericks on Friday. So I want to get what you and Caleb think about it. But Allie, how would you fix the Grizzlies, man? Like, what do you think? Sorry, Allie was taking a lunch break and she's back.
You know what? Just a quick bite of a granola bar, a little tinkle session. Listen, I would just do exactly what you guys have been saying. Double down on that.
Well done. Yeah, well done.
All right, so that's where we're gonna go. Siakam is leaving Toronto, and he's gonna end up there. We called it first, right, Nigel?
Yeah, we called it first.
So
pains me, but we called it.
There we go. All right, so let's get into some more headlines, man. Bronny James commits to USC. NBA could be a year away. Do we think he's going to be? Is it the 1 year, one and done, or he's one of these players that doesn't need to be one and done, but he's probably one and done though, right?
Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of hype. I hope he doesn't Lonzo Ball it.
He's
you know what I mean?
The price is going to be better there from what everybody says.
Because I'm just saying, like it's just there's so much pressure on that poor kid.
Yeah.
And everybody's watching. So any mistake, and he's in the heart of social media prime. So that means anything that's not good, he's getting murdered everywhere he looks.
So he's gonna take skin.
He's got to have a lot of thick skin, and there's going to be a lot of players just wanting to grill his ass because they know they'll be on TV. Like, it helps them to smash him, right?
Yep.
Like Conor McGregor calls it red panty night, right? He says fighting me is red panty night, meaning it's like it's the best night. Like he said, he and his wife, red panty night. It's like, that's what fighters get when they know they're fighting him. So they're giving him everything, right? That's what's going to happen with Braun. That's what, I mean, with Bronny, that's what happened with Lonzo Ball. All the talking from the dad put everything on Lonzo. But he didn't do that with the younger son, so Melo was just balling. He don't have none of that pressure. He's free. But his brother did. And I think Bronny gets a lot. And coming out of the league, like, oh man, like going to the league. I think he should stay in college as long as he needs to really develop his game and be ready and then go, because there's no rush. You're going to the league. They're gonna take you. You already know. You don't need the money. It's not like kids that are like, yo, man, my mama, she working at Foot Locker. Like, I gotta go. He don't have that issue. He don't even know what's he's never seen a refrigerator that wasn't full in his entire life. He doesn't even know what it's not like to have somebody else clean your room. Remember coming to America when he said, I am a man who's never tied his own shoes before. He said, wrong. You are a prince who's never tied his own shoes. Believe me, it's an overrated experience. You know what I mean? Like, he has that kind of life. So I think he should take his time and get there when he's ready and then go his own path, because the world is going to try to compare him to his dad immediately. And it's just not fair.
What's your take, Allie?
I almost feel like LeBron would want him to be in school more than 1 year. Because it's like his future's already laid out for him. Like, he's set. Whether he wants it or not, there's always going to be that pressure for him in comparison to his dad. But I feel like LeBron, as just his father, would be like, listen, you're good. Like, you should just continue to try to be like almost like a normal, get as much life experience as you can, learn as much as you can. And obviously you're going to be set no matter what. So that's what I think. I think he should, and he probably will be supported in the decision to do more than 1 year before entering NBA.
Nigel?
Complete opposite, baby. He's gonna play with USC and then he's out. That's it. There's no I all of the moral within me that says and that agrees with Allie and Caleb. Yes, man, he definitely should stay at least 2 years, get somewhat of an education, do the damn thing. Is not gonna happen. One and done for sure. One, he's got the LeBron James, he's Bronny, and for his dad's legacy. Yes, his dad's, not Bronny's, but for his dad's legacy, he wants to be the first duo, the first father and son duo to play in the NBA. There's no doubt that nothing will stop that. LeBron knows that his time is coming up short. LeBron will never hate the game. He'll never come to that point, but he's going to get tired and wants to switch it up because he's right now, this is a lot for him, man. This series right now is a lot for him. Now we're talking about extending it another 2, 3, 4 years, however long. It's not going to happen, man. I'm telling you. I think LeBron is he's not going to push, he's not going to force, but he's going to encourage Bronny to make a decision, think about it, play 1 year. USC might crack the top 25. They'll make it into the March Madness. They're not going to do great.
They got the number one prospect.
Oh, who did? Oh, yeah.
To USC,
right.
Yeah.
So they'll cry. They're not going to do great in the tournament, but they'll do okay in the tournament. Bronny's going to declare, and then whatever team he goes to, just like it's written in the articles, whatever team he goes to, LeBron will take that cut. He'll go play 1 season, boom. Then he'll go back into Cleveland, retire as a Cavalier, and then it's Bronny's from then on. And then Bronny will start. Bronny will start to make his own way. He can get his diploma later, man. You know how many NBA players and NFL players have gotten their diploma after their careers or during their careers?
He doesn't need a diploma.
He doesn't.
That. I was talking more about him just allowing his body to mature physically.
I hear you.
His game get. That's all I was talking about.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'll just say this, he's about to those NBA players are going to be trying to murder him.
Yep.
Yes.
Murder him.
And here's the thing too, and I don't remember who said it before, but someone touched on it. It's not like he's coming from a family that needs him to kind of go pro quicker.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said.
Like he's got time, and don't even take into consideration LeBron's money, his dad's money. You can also take into consideration the fact that he's got his own money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So there's what is his NIL?
5.6 or something mil or something, or was it 9? Something between 5 and 9 mil.
No way.
Yeah. His NIL is 5.6. I believe, and as a matter of fact, he just signed another deal with who was it again?
Listen, it doesn't. I'm just gonna say this. Yes, all of that stuff is legit. The NIL, all that stuff is legit. It's the fact.
Oh, brawny paper towels. He's got brawny paper towels.
It's the.
So there we go. He looks great in plaid.
They are doing too much.
Yeah,
that is too much pressure on that young boy.
1,000%.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm telling you,
for someone that has for someone that's had every resource available to him, you still kind of got to feel bad a little bit because it's like he's never had any other choice.
He did not ask for that.
Nope.
Right, and what I mean is he didn't ask to be LeBron James' son. That's just what it is, right?
Yeah.
And so and how they're presenting him, I'm telling you. It's not good. It's not. Like, it's too much pressure, too fast, too young. Like, too many people are gonna be trying to get him to he's either gonna sink or swim, and he'll be fine in life. I'm talking about just what it means to be that man's son. Like, that's a lot, and you're in the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not like your dad was like, no disrespect to Dale Curry, but he was a good player.
Yeah, there was a difference.
Yeah, we loved him up here.
It's not Michael Jordan's son.
Yeah.
It's you know what I mean? Like, if it was Michael Jordan's son, if his son was playing, it would be like those types of guys. Come on, man. If he like Conor McGregor have a son that wants to go in the UFC, are you like? I just think it's not good. I really don't.
I don't think so. I agree.
He's got commercials. He hasn't even earned it. He hasn't even graduated high school yet. What is he doing with a national commercial? Like, you guys are doing too much. I'm telling you, setting them up. You're setting them up for the reality of this world. See, the thing about this realm, it don't care about none of your daddy can be whoever. The rain, it rains and the sun shines and the sky rains on the good and bad alike. So just because you got everything good don't mean storms ain't coming. And your storms are going to be different. Trust me.
Might even be harder.
Like, I just feel like, why are you adding to it? You guys are making it so much worse on this poor young man. Like, leave him alone. He don't need no more exposure than what he already got.
But he's a natural for these brawny paper towels, is he not?
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
that's great. That's fantastic. It's fantastic. But the other side comes with that. Same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. That's what my mama used to say.
Famous Bart Scott line says that every day on the radio. Al, you listen to Bart Scott with Alan Hahn? You're local. Bart Scott and Alan Hahn, one of my favorite radio shows, talk radio shows.
But it's true though. But
is it on WFAN or no?
ESPN Radio.
Thing.
They're ESPN.
Okay. Yeah, I listen to more WFAN, but yeah, I agree with Caleb. I just feel like he doesn't deserve. He's not earning this. He's not earning it, and so therefore the whole mindset of, I just feel like he's going to get to a certain age where potentially with the path that he's on, he might start to feel like just entitled, and that's just the nature of it because he's being set up for everything without earning things.
It's it's a lot rough of a crash if it doesn't work.
And then when you're entitled, you feel like you don't have to work as hard. You don't feel like you have to put your best foot forward. You're just who you are because that's who people want you to be. And that comes with a lot of issues, especially
that's why we have a horrible producer
young.
sometimes. That's why Patty
Stop,
feels entitled.
Patty.
But let me say this Patty. Though, again, with a little bit of pushback, don't we think? At least I think LeBron, one of LeBron's greatest attributes or like characteristics has been that he has done his due diligence and done the best job at staying out of the social media limelight or making sure that he minds his P's and Q's. I see that as a bonus for Bronny coming up because he's like, hey man, LeBron will make sure that he's grooming him with these tools to make sure that when he does show up, this is how you conduct yourself because the pressure is so high, because you are my son, whether you like it or not, and because you want the same things I want. I'm telling you, it is just for that one game in September. Was like September 14 when the I don't know, he goes who would he go to? The Dallas? No, it wouldn't be Dallas Mavericks, but like, man, the Sacramento Kings are playing, and LeBron is now playing one season with Sacramento, and they're going up against Golden State, and it's LeBron and Bronny playing, and all they need is like 60 seconds. That's all. It doesn't even matter what team they're. They just need 60 seconds.
The Grizzlies did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was gonna say, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all you need is that 60
Playing
seconds, man.
time.
All you need is that little time frame. It could even be a quarter, and then that's it. You can wash your hands of it. LeBron can go retire again. Bronny can focus. That's all you need.
No, you're right. And what I'll say, because this is it's like, because I'm only speaking on this because of my own personal experience, right? Like for who my family is. I've seen this firsthand.
Right.
My nephew started acting and his dad was the biggest actor in the history of Hollywood at that time. You know what I mean? And it's like your dad is Will Smith, right? Like, what does that do to you?
A lot of pressure.
And you're moving into the same thing. Have you seen, and it's like people were killing my nephew way before all this other stuff been going. Like, oh my God, they just gave him everything. Oh my God, I hate that. Like, I'm telling you, that stuff.
But that's the unfair side of it.
You hear these things, and they matter. And my brother-in-law is one of the best men I've ever met, one of the greatest fathers in the history of fatherdom. And it still gets to the kids at times, like in the things that you have to do and what you have to endure and what you have to stand up and face on your own that nobody can help you with. That's what I mean by the pressures of this world, right? That's why in stories, the hero has to walk that valley of the shadow by himself or herself. Your mentor can't go with you. Bronny's going to face that stuff. And what I'm saying is you're adding to it. You're adding the fodder. You're putting more bullets in their guns by all of this. And I don't even see him as entitled. I don't think he is. I'm just talking about the pressure to just have to live up, to just have to earn all of this. To that is what I'm referring to. And I'm just hoping he's ready and prepared. And you couldn't have a better team behind you, but you still got to face it on your own. That's the truth of this world. You will bear your own cross. Nobody can carry it for you. So I'm just hoping that it's worth it, because all the money in the world don't mean nothing when you don't feel good about you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, the pressure and the mindset is so much different than like what you said earlier, Nigel, with how, LeBron has done a good job of kind of keeping his personal life to himself, and with everything go crazy and all the options with social media, right? He's done a good job of that. And I have no doubt in my mind that Bronny was getting potty trained at the same time he was getting media trained, right? Like, I'm sure that he's been groomed already for his whole life on what to do to maintain privacy, but that is different than absorbing this pressure and having it play with you mentally, because you're the only one who's going to come in your own way. You're the only one who's going to feel that pressure. And no matter what you're trained to say, no matter what, whatever, you're going to feel that. And that could break as a young kid with your brain developing way into your 20s. You are taking that on. So you can learn anything. You can learn exactly what to say. You can memorize it verbatim, same interviews, whatever. And that has nothing to do with how you are going to absorb this pressure and what you're going to do about it, and how it's going to affect what you do, what you believe about yourself, your actions that you take, everything. So I feel like they're two different things. And at the end of the day, you're right. It's going to come to him and his mindset, and hopefully he can take care of, his mental health as much as he can, just because of this position he is being thrown into.
Yeah, man.
Agreed.
Because you're built different when you grow up struggling. See, his dad grew up struggling. Like he had to. It's a thing too. It's a different thing when you grow up without that. It's like not saying you're any weaker or anything, but what I mean is it's just your experiences are different, and
you learn how to cope and help yourself better.
He can shut off all social media. You still got to go after the game and hear this reporter say, when your dad was 18, he averaged 25 points. Your average is only 6. How do you stand up to that? Like basically saying like you're nothing, like your dad. Like that gets in your head. You could play it cool. Oh, I'm my own person. You say the right thing. And then when you walk off that stage, that voice saying they know.
That doesn't turn off.
That's what I'm talking about.
And there's always going to be, and listen, it gets to the best of us. The best of us always have imposter syndrome. We always feel like we don't belong someplace, even if we do. And so that's something that he's going to always have to deal with too. Am I here because I'm LeBron's son? Am I here because I'm, your nephew probably has dealt with it before. Like, it starts to creep in where it's like, and it's not fair because it's from all the people that the people that want to complain about it too are the same people that said be the first online to be able to be in that position as well. Let's call it what it is, right? So it's an unfair thing that at the end of the day, we got to remember too, Bronny's still a kid. He's a kid. That's
right.
He's not even a grown up yet. And he's probably dealt with it probably for the last 3 or 4 years. Since his whole high school career, I'm sure he's dealt with it. So good luck to the kid. And you know what? Listen, he hopefully he takes any resource that he's gotten and he does the best with it. But that can't be the reason why he's supposed to make it. He's only supposed to make it if he's supposed to make it. Doesn't matter who your dad is, right? So,
but it does because the media
it does to the media, but it doesn't.
That's the difference.
That's what I'm agreeing with you on that. I'm agreeing with you on that. It does.
And perception is reality in American society. The perception is reality. And I'm telling you, you see people imploding all the time.
Yeah,
it's rough.
It's really unfair. But I get what you're saying. So you know what? We got to move on from this. We spent a lot of time on Bronny. So let's move over to Ben Simmons playing in the World Cup. He wants to play in the World Cup.
I'm done. I don't want to hear. I don't want to do this topic.
Kind of like.
Do what? I was like, I'm done with him. I'm done with him. Like,
right? No,
I'm giving him to Jason Tatum. I'm giving him the tape.
Oh, you got the thing.
Waving him off.
He needs to he needs to play an NBA game first, right? Like just get your career under control, like first. I'm not even going to go to Allie. I'm not even going to put Allie on the spot.
I'm going to do my media training for this one.
No comment.
We're not going to put Allie clean. And hopefully whatever he decides to do, he's good for the Nets. Because I feel
bad for Ben Simmons in a lot of ways because I feel like there's something wrong and something going on. And it's none of our business, but I do feel bad for him in a lot of ways. He's kind of been thrust into this position. But you know what? I do agree with Caleeb. Like, play. Let's just get your career under control first, and then we'll go from there. So let's move. So we won't spend any time on it. We'll move on to the next one.
I just want to say this.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say this. Like, Ben, this is the tournament that you want to be like. This is the one. Right. The FIBA World Cup. This is the one where you're like, I'm back, y'all. Like, this is the one, dog.
Hey, he's doing it for Australia. He's doing it for Australia.
Yeah, and for Australia, I bet you half the people that read the article or even found out about this didn't even know he was Australian. You know what I mean? Like this one, dude. Yeah, moving on. I just was shocked. I just read the headline and I was like, I'm out. I'm over this. This one, FIBA World Cup for Australia. Get out of here.
There we go. All right, so we'll move on to D'Angelo Russell. Lakers have a decision to make in free agency. Do the Lakers keep him? If not, who should? Well, first of all, let's say Caleeb. Start with you, Caleeb. Do the Lakers keep him?
I can say at least in this series, he's been showing up. I'm not the biggest fan of D'Angelo Russell, I have to admit. I mean, I still haven't got over cell phone gate. It's like there's just certain things.
I think a lot of people forgot about that too.
You know what I mean? No, I never will. And it's just like, it's like, hey, what are you guys doing after the game? Oh, I got Bible study, and then I'm going to sleep. Like, we ain't doing nothing with you, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like I just can't. But he's been doing good this series. He's going to want a ton of money. That's why he said there's a decision.
He's already making a ton of money too.
But he's going to want a real ton. Like, he's going to want $100 million plus, like, contract, like Jordan Poole contract. You know what I mean? He's going to want something like that.
But is he paying like he's getting paid 31.5 this year? Is he playing like someone that needs to get paid that deserves to be paid 31.5 this year?
Last game he did, he was like his first 5 3-pointers he hit cash. Like he was balling.
One game. I'm talking about the season as a whole.
No. But I think a lot of players are overpaid. Like Charles Barkley said, one of the best things he says, we paying janitors $200 million. Right? He called some of them players janitors, like their level of skill, and he's right. So like I think he's way overpaid at $31 million. Like, are you crazy? Him? Yeah, right. But that's just the market. So get what you can. But the Lakers are gonna have to pay to keep him. Like that's just it, and that's all. He's not gonna come for nothing cheap. They're gonna have to give $100+ million.
Allie, who makes a run at this kid if he leaves the Lakers? Who do you think he would be a good fit on?
That's a good question. I don't know what you talked about when you were talking about building the Grizzlies, but I mean, he had an interesting quote. He said, "Wherever my feet are, that's where I'm going to be." And it's like, okay, well, that's like obviously. So what about the money, right? What do you really want? I think the reason he's a great player. The reason we're talking about him more and more is because of how much he's kind of helping LeBron and because he's on such a big team, like for right now. But I just feel like I don't know who could use him. I could see the Lakers keeping him because of how much he's been helpful especially as of late. But I don't feel like he's anyone, I don't know. And like people are going to be fighting over him. I feel like he's just not that for me. I don't know where he ends up. I feel like he'll stay with the Lakers for at least another year.
Caleb was right. He's probably going to get overpaid because everybody gets overpaid. You have one little run, and you get paid based on Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole got paid based on a nice little run.
Way overpaid. So that's because they won a championship and he contributed. But
that's what I'm saying. But he had a nice run, and they gave him based on that run.
Yeah, and I would say the Suns could use him. I could see D'Lo with Phoenix. I absolutely could. I could even see him coming off the bench. Toronto could use him, maybe. Oh yeah.
Because I don't think Van Fleet's. I don't think they're going to try and keep Van Fleet. I don't know. I mean,
not your Orlando team. Could they rebuild and use him to kind of?
They definitely
start that. I feel like that could be good.
He'd be a nice piece in Orlando. He could be a nice piece in Orlando. What about or even the Clippers? Cross down. Clippers could use him. Yeah. The problem is Clippers aren't going to have. You never know if you're a player in your prime. Do you want to go to the Clippers knowing you have no idea who you're going to be playing with, who's going to be hurt game in and game out? So that's
the thing with him though. He's not a superstar, so he'll always be a role player. Mm-hmm. So it don't really matter, and you know what I mean? Because if Kawhi, just say PG and Kawhi aren't there, then guess who becomes the big guy? You. So he may want that. You know what I mean? So but I would say I think it's shoot. What I really want to happen, I want Ty Lue to go to Milwaukee and start coaching Giannis. Ooh. I think Ty Lue as their coach.
If Ty Lue is smart, he'd get the hell out of there.
Hell yeah!
They're in salary. They're gonna be in salary cap hell.
You can't trust Kawhi. PG, you can. He's but Kawhi, nah. He's
What about if Kent? All right. So we were talking at one point of. So last Friday, and this is Nigel. Let me ask you think because this is going to tie into Russell to an extent, and we're going to be actually we're almost at 2:00, so this might be our last topic. So we had said, what if there was a sign and trade? OG is obviously on the trading block. What if there was a sign and trade? OG with some picks and some other pieces over to Dallas for Kyrie. Kyrie would be a great fit with Siakam and Barnes. OG would be a good fit in Dallas with Luka. And then what they also do is they also bring in a D'Angelo Russell to Dallas. Give me both teams' ideas on that. How do you think that fits on both teams? We can go whichever one you want to go with first. I know I might have hit you with something a little heavy. You guys getting Kyrie. But
no. I'll go with an overall generic answer first. I don't think that would work. I don't think
for who or for both.
For both teams. For both teams.
Okay.
I think it works more in Dallas's favor than it does in ours. I think this would be the one time that you would see an uprising of Canadian fans.
They do not want him there, right?
Shit. They don't. I think this would be the one time where
he's not Canadian. He doesn't have your Canadian style, I guess.
Yeah, and man, listen. The bigger problem here is just Kyrie in general, man. Like I can't get over the fact that he's cancerous to any system that he ends up joining. Like he would really disrupt the flow and the chemistry that we have on our squad. And I think so much so that it would be heavily detrimental to the squad, because what we have up here and why we work and why we won that 2019 championship and why we still became a little bit of a problem or a thorn in people's sides like continuously is because we've got unbelievable chemistry and we've got a lot of camaraderie and we have a lot of respect for each other. And so as a unit, we play well in Nick Nurse's system at the time before things kind of fell apart this season. Defensively, Kyrie fits individually, but I think in the schematic of it, I don't think he fits, because defensively we're very cohesive. Everybody's got to be we're the Voltron of the league. Everybody's is their own lion, and when we're connected, we're pretty unstoppable, right? Again,
you can't have any thorns in the
with the exception of
sticking
with the exception of this season. So I don't think it works out for us. For Dallas, I think that would be great. I think that works. I think that would work out for them amazingly, because their team is still trying to figure things out. But to have OG over there, no problem.
And in that same mix, you would have Russell there as well in that same mix.
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell at the point.
That I can see. I can see D'Angelo. I just don't want Kyrie. I can see D'Angelo coming up here. I think that could work too. I think because we changed people up here too, man. The amount of Americans that have come up here, people want to play for us now. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that they're going out and and demanding or putting us on their top 5, but when they say sign and trade or whatever it is, they're not mad about it like they used to be. They're not upset about it like they used to be.
You know who that is, though? It's because Usama Ujiri is really the reason why. I think I think the whole league trusts that he's going to put together a contender.
Oh yeah,
that's why.
And that's not even like I said it without saying it, and I'm not even going to question. Like, I'm not even questioning Eugene 100%. That is exactly why, because he did this thing where he was the one that really became a trendsetter, where he's like drafting these players from outside of the country, outside of North America, very high too. Like, not even like second, third round, like first round, top of the second round. We're drafting these European players, these African players, and they all have, for the most part, have panned out. We're even drafting our own countrymen. Like it's. So people want to play here because they know that the system is valued, and they know that what they're getting into is going to be more than just what it used to be, which is half the Americans that play in the NBA haven't even flown across the border. Like, they haven't even come to Canada. And Canada is like, if it's not a 6-hour flight or something, it's like a couple hours drive, and they haven't been here before. The only thing that haters have is the winter. I mean, our taxes suck too, but we got healthcare.
Yeah, but you care more about your people. So I'm up there.
You get free healthcare, so that's a bonus in itself.
Yeah,
right?
But I digress. Like, I'll my rant is done. But I think the Russell would work way better than Kyrie would. So I think on that trade, I think Dallas is the one that gets that wins out. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
All right.
There's a lot. Sorry.
We got a couple minutes left. So real quick before we get at a couple more spots, Andre Iguodala will be able to return to practice next week. Do we see? He's great he's great as a coach on the bench. Does he really do any? Does he move the needle at all playing wise? I mean, I know he's still got the defensive prowess that he has, but does he move the needle at all on even at his age? You think so, Caleb?
Yep, because it's not always about what you can actually physically do. Sometimes it's just your presence. Sometimes it's the words that you speak. Sometimes it's just them watching you running up and down the court, and they know how injured you are. They know that and they're like, that will inspire somebody to say, damn it, if Andre's running, I'm running. Like I ain't gonna let him outrun me. I know his ACL is torn. Shh, don't say nothing. You know what I mean? Like those kinds of things inspire. Like I was talking about, Booker is inspiring KD. He makes KD want to play again. Totally. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think Iguodala has that because Draymond has more of like aggression on it. Like he'll hurt you if you don't listen. So that kind of turns players off. That's why he had a fight with Poole and stuff. But like Iguodala is that veteran that can inspire you and get you. He's not threatening you physically. He's going to threaten you with look at me go dive on the floor for that ball. And I couldn't even walk yesterday. You know what I mean? Like gotcha. They know the secrets and they're seeing him do it. So I think that is going to inspire. And he's still extremely athletic. And I'm telling telling you, a block shot or steal, a rebound here changes the games. Again, it's not how many you do; it's when you do them.
And the momentum change. You're right, and the fact that you can change momentum because you even seen him on the sideline now in street clothes, and he's coaching these young players up. He's actually coming out to like the huddle and telling what's in these young guys to do.
That's right.
I got to imagine he's definitely going to be an assistant coach in the next few years, and maybe a possible head coach after that. Because you see him doing it now as a player. You see him doing it now, and now being on the floor as a general, being able to kind of explain what some of these guys need to do might even pay more dividends than that. Allie, what's your vibe on it?
Yeah, so at first I was like, no, I don't feel like he would do much, but I was thinking Caleeb, in terms of physically.
I thought the same thing. Caleb switched my mind.
Same. And then hearing Caleb, I'm like, you're right. Like just the energy of his presence would affect and change the game a little bit. So I like looking at it from that point of view because I was so stuck in just the physicality of it. But yeah, so I agree with Caleb that yes, but not in the way that I initially thought, which is good.
I agree. He's not going to score 20 points.
No, those days. I mean, even in his prime, he wasn't a big scorer anyway. So
yeah,
right. But you know what I mean. Like, he's
but I
not
get what you're
doing
saying.
That.
Totally.
Yeah. Nige, what do you think?
Same, agreed. I mean, that's what the Warriors are known for, man. Like it's the moment, like Caleb said, all podcasts, man. It's when you do it. It's not what you do, it's when you do it, and that's what those Warriors have been all about. They've won championships based on that credo. They've won championships based on that, man. So you have Iguodala there, sure, man. He gets you 5 points, maybe 3 rebounds, maybe 1 assist. That's gonna be fine because I bet you when you play that.
3 steals.
Yeah, 3 steals. Yeah, just
right. Steal when you needed it.
Yeah,
that baseball pass from LeBron down court, and you just jump up and take it. Like stuff like that. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he had that big block in the finals.
Momentum changing.
Yeah. So you just watch it. You watch the tape back, and that's what he's done. It's like, yeah, man, that's exactly why we brought him back.
And also makes that team even deeper, right? Like just another piece that, that's why when I think so many people were worried from the regular season into the postseason, they got 2 big pieces back this postseason. They got Wiggins back for round 1. He showed you how important he is to the depth of that team. And now they're about to get Iguodala back, which if he plays half decent, that just makes that team just that much deeper. And he's a guy that's been in the trenches, been in the battles, knows what it's like to win the championship in this league. He knows what it's like to make deep runs into the playoffs. So he was on the big Philly, the really good Philly team that went to the finals?
Yeah, hell yeah.
He was on that team, right?
That's where he got his name.
So that, I was going to say with Iverson. So so I mean, I think I wasn't as set on it until Caleb kind of got my you make a good point. So there you go. And then all right, last piece of NBA news, and then we're gonna call it a day. David Edelman, the interview for Raptors job. Nigel, are you?
Yeah, you gotta start with Nigel.
You like this?
Yeah, I do like this. This guy's a vet. I mean, he's on the Denver Nuggets coaching squad right now. Like and we've seen what they've done the last 2, 3, 4 seasons. So and
I've seen them bully fans in the stands. I've seen them do that.
Yeah,
I wonder if he thought that. I wonder if he thought that move. He
won't have that problem in Toronto, but like I mean, it's like he's coming from a really great organization that knows how to win, has how to put a team together. We're at this point just interviewing everybody just to see, because what do we have to lose? We already know that we are in a rebuilding phase. We're in a transitional phase, which is great, which is fine. Nobody's mad at it. So yeah, I think it's a great interview. I mean, I have no clue who's front runner, nor do I really care because I have a lot of faith in the head office and the front office. Mm-hmm. But I think this is a very good person to add to the mix.
Allie?
Jokic even said, hey, he's got the head to be the next head coach. I don't know if he meant for what team specifically, but yeah, I do think that he has potential in being that for sure. He's already led, many games when Malone was away for health and protocol reasons. So I feel like, the potential's there. And whether Raptors want to go through with that, I'm trusting Nigel, who's much closer to that than I am in trusting and putting his faith in, what they know to be best for their team. So whether he ends up with them or elsewhere or whatever, I do think there is the next step makes sense for him to be head coach somewhere.
Well, I think we talked about it before. I think trusting that GM, or he's the president now, right? Majiri, Usama Majiri, he's a guy that you got to trust in, right? I mean, he seems like he makes right move after right move. And is this Rick Adelman's son, like former coach Rick Adelman's son? I'm assuming it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
But Caleb, do you think this guy's going to be a future head coach of this league? Or we all know he's going to be a future head coach of this league, but is he a guy that can help lead Toronto if Toronto makes this hire? Can help lead Toronto back around?
I don't know, but you never know until you try, right? Like nobody knew Eric Spoelstra was going to be Eric Spoelstra. Nobody knew Ty Lue, the guy that is on a poster with Allen Iverson stepping over him, looking down on him, would become such a great coach. You know what I mean? Like you don't ever know those things. So, and even look at Mike Brown in Sacramento. He was a terrible head coach with the Lakers, goes to Steve Kerr, comes back, and now is coaching this team in the play. Like, so you just never know. I say if they like him and they feel like he's got it, you got to give him that shot, because these are the new minds. They're trained up in this new basketball league. You know what I mean? Like they understand the way the game's played now. So you need those young minds when you're trying to go into the future. They're the only ones that can take you. The old school mind ain't gonna get you there. You know what I mean? You need these new guys. So I don't see why you wouldn't. And especially somebody like Joker says he has the head to be the next head coach. Come on now. Like, absolutely.
There you go. So, guys, this is going to bring us to the end of the show. Oh, yes, he is Rick Adelman's son.
His dad was a fantastic coach.
Yeah, great time coach. So, thank you, Patty.
Yeah.
All right, Allie, he's not that bad, I guess. You're right.
We love you.
No, let's pump the brakes. He's all right. Listen, if Matt Hamilton was on the show, they have I think Matt Hamilton's like 12-0 against who's going to get the stat first, him or Matt. So he's lucky just Matt Hamilton was here, because if Matt Hamilton was here, we would have found out 3 minutes ago that he was Adelman's son. So there's that. But
don't let him abuse you like this, Patty. This is called workman's what is that? Hostile work environment.
Yeah.
Well, Wednesday we'll see if he can beat Matt to the punch on some information on Wednesday. We'll see. And we'll also find out on Wednesday if Aaron Judge returned. The talk is he's going to return tomorrow. We'll find out Wednesday if he did or not. Let's go around the horn. Last words, Nigel. Last words of the day. Actually, it'll be the last words for a couple weeks from you. You'll be away for a few weeks, for a few episodes. So, last words.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm gonna miss y'all. Have the best time, and don't forget, go get yourself a coffee.
There you go. And it's especially in this beautiful weather that we've been having in the Northeast.
Oh, and I'm gonna buy a new hat.
I would love to see it when then you come back. You're going to debut it when you come back finally?
I think so.
Love it. Hopefully it's going to be like a Yankee hat or something. Maybe we'll see. Or a jet, maybe a jet hat. We'll see. Allie, last words.
I've been bursting at the seams to ask Caleb when his birthday is, because he has Capricorn at the bottom under his lower third.
You're going to find out that you got who wants to give her the big news, the big scoop.
What?
Yeah. Go ahead, Caleb.
We just found out last week.
Yeah.
And Nigel is when?
January 2.
We found out.
And I'm week. January 5th, baby.
No, swear to God.
Wow. And here's my last word is that when you are doing what you love, you find people who are like-minded and talk about the same stuff, and it's just
born in the same week.
And when you are literally, seriously, when you are like in tune with the energy of what you put out and what you get, and like the vibe of just, how you are as a person, you attract that. So I feel like that makes sense for us to all be doing this together.
And you know what's so cool about that, Gene, is this. 2 + 3 =
5. It's kind of creepy, actually. It's kind of creepy, and I'm the one that's left out. Although I'm November 4th, but if you want to go that way, we have 2, 3, 4, 5.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Whoa! Freaky, man, freaky.
Weird.
But there you go. So, Caleb, what's your last words, man?
Spread love is the Brooklyn way, baby. Y'all have a great, great, great week. I won't be here on Wednesday either. I'll be working. Sorry, guys, but hey. I'll be with you in spirit as always.
We love that you're working. Busy's good.
Busy is always good. Especially we know that Caleb's going to be putting something really cool out. Whatever he's working, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. We'll be fans of it, I'm sure. And it'll be me, Abby, and Matt for sure. We'll be here. But my thing is, guys, go Knicks, and hopefully we can turn this series around. And other than that, guys, have a great today, a better tomorrow. We will see you Wednesday.
Love it.
Bye. Peace. Later.
That's the pop off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Pat Paddy Puddles, and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.